Did you know that Mikuláš, the benevolent bringer of sweets and small gifts, has a dark secret? A secret buried beneath centuries of carols and the crunch of gingerbread, hidden behind the rosy cheeks of the accompanying angel and the devilish grin of the Krampus. It's a secret whispered only by the wind that howls down from the Krkonoše mountains on the eve of December 5th. A secret that chills the blood even as the scent of roasted chestnuts fills the air. It started innocently enough. Mikuláš, a bishop renowned for his kindness and generosity, truly loved bringing joy to children. He'd travel from village to village, his heavy sack filled with treats, his heart overflowing with goodwill. The angel and the Krampus were later additions, meant to represent the reward for good behavior and a playful deterrent for naughtiness, respectively. The Krampus, with his rattling chains and fearsome mask, was never meant to be truly menacing, just a bit of theatrical fun. But something changed. It started subtly. Perhaps it was the isolation of the long winter nights, the endless trek through snow-laden forests, the weight of expectation pressing down year after year. Perhaps it was the whispers of the children, the constant judgment, the impossible task of perfectly discerning good from bad. Whatever the cause, a seed of darkness began to sprout in Mikuláš's heart. The first sign was the coal. Initially, a lump of coal was a humorous gesture, a gentle reminder to be a bit better next year. Then the coal became bigger, heavier, delivered with a sterner look, a sharper tone. The playful glint in Mikuláš's eyes began to fade, replaced by something colder, more calculating. The Krampus, ever sensitive to shifts in power, grew bolder. His playful nips and prods became harsher, his chains rattled with malicious intent. He started whispering tales of children who'd vanished, swallowed by the blizzards, their cries lost in the howling wind. These were, of course, just stories, but the children believed them, their eyes wide with terror, their small hands clutching their parents' legs. Mikuláš saw this fear, and instead of allaying it, he nurtured it. He began to enjoy it. The angel, initially oblivious, slowly became aware of the transformation. She tried to reason with Mikuláš, reminding him of his original purpose, his inherent goodness. But her pleas fell on deaf ears. He'd wave her away, his voice laced with an icy impatience she'd never heard before. Her light, once so bright, began to flicker, dimmed by the encroaching darkness. The change wasn't just internal. Mikuláš's appearance began to shift. His once kindly face grew gaunt, his eyes hollow, his smile strained. His red robes, once vibrant and cheerful, became faded, stained with something that looked suspiciously like mud, or perhaps something worse. The children, once eager to greet him, now cowered in fear, their excited chatter replaced by whimpers. One particularly harsh December night, high in the Tatra Mountains, the transformation reached its terrifying apex. The wind howled like a banshee, the snow fell thick and fast, obscuring the path. Mikuláš, his face barely visible beneath the hood of his cloak, stopped at a small, isolated cottage. Inside, a single child, a little girl named Aliska, waited nervously. She'd been told to be good, but she'd accidentally broken her mother's favorite teacup that afternoon. She was terrified of what Mikuláš would do. He entered the cottage, the Krampus close behind, his chains clanging ominously. The angel hovered by the door, her light flickering weakly, her face etched with despair. Aliska, trembling, offered Mikuláš a small, hand-painted wooden bird, her only remaining toy. He took it, examined it coldly, then, with a cruel twist of his lips, snapped it in two. Aliska screamed. What happened next is shrouded in the swirling snow and the screams of the wind. The villagers found the cottage empty the next morning, the door hanging open, a single, broken wooden bird lying in the snow. Aliska was never seen again. The angel, unable to bear the darkness that had consumed Mikuláš, vanished into the blizzard. The Krampus, now fully unleashed, reveled in his newfound power. And Mikuláš, he continued his yearly rounds, his sack now filled with something other than sweets and nuts. Something dark, something terrible. So, when you hear the jingle of Mikuláš's bells on December 5th, and see the flicker of the lanterns in the falling snow, remember the tale of Aliska. Remember the chilling secret whispered by the wind. Because sometimes, the sweetest treats conceal the bitterest truths, and the kindly old man with the white beard might just be hiding something monstrous beneath his red robes. Listen closely. Do you hear the wind howling? It whispers Aliska's name. It whispers a warning.